All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this training step that's going to be about adding the contact us form to your website. Okay, so let me give you context as to what this is, so that way you're understanding exactly what we're building and how to actually build it, as well as I'm going to show you how we've already done 80 to 90%, if not 100% of the work for you, so that way you are ready to rock and roll. Okay, so we're going to go over to our website real quick, and I just want to show you, this is not where you're going to go to build a form, but I'm going to show you where the form is going to be. Okay, so what's going to happen here is if I scroll down, you'll see that we have this form right here, right? So which is, hey, request more information. So we got this full name, email address, phone number, right? And then if I open up the pop-up as well, you'll see that we have the same form, right? So it's the exact same form, but the same form is actually located inside of the pop-up as well. So how do we actually build this form? How does this form come into place, right? If I wanted to ask other questions on this form, let's say I wanted to have a form that was maybe for my clients and not just for my website, how would I build that, right? All of that is what we're going to go ahead and touch base on very quickly here inside of this training. So this is how we actually get to forms. Okay. So again, ClientKit is a softwares change their UI all the time, but you're going to find something like sites, and then you're going to go over here to forms. Okay. So at the top right here, you're going to go over to forms. Now, once you go over to forms, you're then going to go over here to the form builder. Okay. Once you get over here to the form builder, what's going to happen is that you're going to see on here a form that is called main website contact form. Now, you may not have all of these other forms on here. Okay. This is kind of like just a test account. So that's why all of these are on here. But if you actually sign up for ClientKit using our link, okay, that's one of the benefits of using the link that we provide. Not only does it allow us to be able to continue to provide amazing value for you, but it also allows you to be able to get insane value by having all of these assets already built out for you. Okay. So if you are missing this where it says main website contact form, make sure you go ahead and reach out via the community so we can make sure that you do go ahead and get that taken care of. But if I go over here and then I go over here to edit, right? If I click on the three dots and then click on edit, you will see that that is the exact form that we have inside of the website. Hey team, this is us from the future. Just a real quick note before we get into the training here. I just want to go ahead and make a quick note that in the rest of this training that you are going through right now, we are about to show you how to edit and customize the main website contact form. And so we go over some of the different ways to customize and edit it. However, I want to make this clear right now is that you are going to see inside of your version, inside of your account, this terms and conditions box that's going to say, I agree to terms and conditions. And what's going to do is that this link for the terms and conditions is not going to be live just yet for you. This is actually going to be, this box and these terms and conditions is something that we set up in the next training that we go ahead and talk about when we talk about the website legal disclaimers. That's going to be the next training that we talk about. And then we're going to walk you through how to actually link the terms and conditions. So don't freak out if right now the terms and conditions is not linked for you, and or if you see something like this. Okay. Now you also want to make sure that you do not, I want to make this clear, do not remove this box from your main website contact form, because we are going to need this in order to go ahead and get your business phone number application approved. That might not mean anything to you right now. You're like, what? Business phone number application? Don't worry. We'll go over it in the future. But for right now, I just wanted to record this quick note to go ahead and let you know, hey, for your main website contact form, do not make too many changes, or if any changes. We've already built this out so that way you do not have to make any changes. And for sure, do not remove the terms and conditions box, and do not worry if the terms and conditions do not work for you right now, or the link for those do not work for you right now. We will be setting that up in the next training. And then in the future, you do want to make sure that you are keeping an eye on the community, because like we've said many times before, there is no guru on the mountain. This is everybody helping each other up the mountain. So the latest, most cutting edge updates to the trainings, because here's the thing, these trainings are static. The most latest cutting edge updated trainings and announcements for those trainings are going to be inside of the community. And then only every couple months do we come in and actually update the training sections that you're going through, right? So right now you're probably a beginner, you're probably going through this for the first time, and that's the reason why you're using the course a lot. But then down the road, as you get up to speed, once you get through all the course, then it's going to be very beneficial for you to make sure you are up to speed with the community. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this was just a quick note. Let's go ahead and get back into the main training. Okay. Now let's say hypothetically, I was over here and I wanted to change the color of this, right? So let's say, for example, I wanted to change this to blue, and then I wanted to actually change the text color. Let's see over here. So I got to change the text color, border, padding, text, right? So text right there. I'm going to go ahead and change the color to white. Boom, just like that. And so that's how you can make some changes on here. Now, let me walk you through the actual builder for forms really, really quickly. Okay. So just like in websites and funnels, there are different elements that we can actually add to a form. So you'll see on here, we can add, let's say, for example, we have a phone number already. We wanted to add an address. Okay. So I can add address right there. And then it goes ahead and adds an address over there. If I wanted to add a city, I could add a city. If I wanted to add a state, I could add a state, right? So all of that shows up like that. Then after that, we then have show notification settings. So this is if somebody fills out any one of these forms, it would go ahead and have a notification that would go out. And this would be either to the person who filled out the form, or this was send an automated email to the person who submits the form. So that's their autoresponder. And then this one is email notification for yourself, okay, when somebody actually fills out the form, or for really anybody who might even be in your organization, XYZ, right? So that's notification settings there. This right here, if you click on the pencil icon, you can actually change the name of the form there, okay? And then if I go ahead and click on style and options, it shows up over here and it shows me, okay, I have an inline form. If I turn that off, inline basically means 2 lines or 2 boxes per line, right? So therefore, that's what that shows up like, right? Show label, I can show the label of all of them. If I click on any one of these elements, I can have that be a required element, or I can have that be hidden, right? Or required if I want them to actually absolutely have to fill that in. If I go back over here to styles, you'll see on here, we got an input style, we have line versus box, we got full screen mode, we got show label, right? All of these are small things. And of course, you can reach out to ClientKit support. They will actually go ahead and help you through this. They show you, I believe they also might even have a guided tour about this as well over here, perhaps. So there's a bunch of different resources that they have. If you do end up getting stuck, they have a lot of different articles there as well. Shadow, label, there's so many small things that you could play around with here. Background images and header images and all of that kind of stuff. Agency branding you can turn off and on, right? So if you want a ClientKit name to show up on your form or not. You then have different themes. So if you wanted to have different types of themes, they have themes on there as well. They also have different options in terms of the form name, what happens when somebody submits. So in this case, it's going to actually give them a message that's going to say, thank you for taking the time to complete this form, right? So someone will be reaching out to you shortly, right? So that could be something that if you wanted to edit that, just a whole bunch of different kind of, options that are on here. But again, we've already done most of the work for you. I'm going to go ahead and undo some of the changes that I made previously. So let me see if it'll allow me to undo. Let me see, undo. Okay, so I might have jacked this up because I probably made too many changes. So in this case, we didn't want address and we didn't want city and we didn't want state, right? So we wanted full name, phone, and email. Okay, cool. So that's cool. Then we go ahead and make sure we hit save, right? Because we changed the button to blue. Now, here's the thing. What we do is we have this form. We can then also go ahead and preview just like the same way we do in websites and funnels. If we hit preview, kind of like the eye icon, it'll show us what the form is actually going to look like if it's just the form by itself. We can also go ahead and click on integrate, and integrate's going to show us, hey, how do you want this form to show up in different embed options, all of that stuff. But none of this is what we care about, okay? We don't care about any of this. The reason is because if I now go back and I go over to my website, I then go over here and I click on edit in a new tab. Here's the cool thing about this. Because it's already connected, you'll see that the button that we changed to this being Next Step Blue should automatically show up here as Next Step Blue over here as well. Okay, that did not show up. So why did that not show up? Now, because of the changes that we've made in the form, let me kind of bring this down so you can see, right? So all I'm doing is I'm switching between tabs, right? So in one tab, I have this form over here, right? We've made this blue. And then if I go over back to the page builder, which was over here with website, right? If we go back to the page builder, right over here, this form button should turn blue as well. It didn't turn blue. Why not? It's probably because it needs to be updated. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come over here. I'm actually going to go ahead and change this to a random form real quick. And then I'm going to go back to main website contact. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. So you'll see the changes that we were making on the form are actually represented in the website, but sometimes you just have to change them around in order for them to save. The same thing also applies for the form that is located inside of the pop-up. So you'll see on here, if I click on this, and then if I just change it around, let's say I go to a different form, and then I go back to the main website form, you'll see that this should turn blue, which it does. Beautiful. And then all we got to do is hit save, right? And then we hit update SEO metadata, because that'll show up. And of course, at this point, you probably have updated SEO metadata. If you haven't, make sure you go through that training because that will be coming up or has already come up. So that is saving on there. So that is how you go ahead and do that with the main website form, okay? However, you could also add different forms if you wanted to. Let's say you're going to start from scratch, right? So what you do is you go ahead and click on add form. And then of course you could start from a template. So they got a whole bunch of templates in here as well. But typically with forms, unlike websites and funnels, we usually start from scratch. So we click on scratch, right? Once you click on start from scratch, it'll then open up in here. Oopsie daisy, see that kind of just opened up twice on there. Okay, there we go. So there we go. And then from here, you can then just go ahead and customize this. Let's say you want this to show inline. So you then say, you know what, show inline. And then let's say you don't want first name and last name, you want full name instead. So you come over here, you add a full name option on there. So you got full name email, you edit the button, and this says this button here. Okay, just like that. And then this one is going to be, I'm going to just call this test form 7, right? And then I hit save. Beautiful. If you want to look at over here, let me just see, save over here. It's saving. There we go. And then trigger type, all these are a little bit more advanced if you wanted to show up in different places. But the main thing is if I go back over here to website, and then I go ahead and actually edit the website builder, I'm going to have to refresh here. So let me refresh, and you'll see what we called that was test form 7, right? And this button here, remember it says green, this button here. All I would do is I would scroll down, and then I would come over here to this, and I would select it, right? And then I would click this, and then I'd look for test form 7. And there it is, this button here, just like that, right? And so it goes ahead and puts that right in there. Now, if you wanted this to actually go down a little bit, because you see how the button now is hitting the black, what you might have to do is you might have to come over here and say, you know what, I got to edit this margin and this padding a little bit and see if that makes a difference. If that doesn't make a difference, then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to click on this little, the green part, and then I'm going to add a little bit more padding over here, so that way it separates each of these individual parts, right? So you can just mess with the padding, make sure it looks nice, all that nice stuff. And then I could come over here and change this form to that same as well, right? And again, I would have to mess around with some of the settings and some of the margin in order for it to work. But again, this is not something that you want to mess around with. I'm going to make this very, very clear. We have already gone ahead, and it's right over here, main website contact form, okay? It's already built out for you. You do not have to worry about all of this and building all of it out, because the only thing that you're gonna do is, and the only reason we're even making this is to show you, hey, the website form, you just wanna make sure that it is inside of your account. So you go over to Forms, Builder, you then make sure that you have the main website contact form, okay? You can then come in here and change the color of this. If you're changing the colors, if you're still doing that yellow kind of vibe, then you can leave it yellow, and then it's gonna work completely out of the box, already built out for you, so that way you don't have to worry about it, okay? But I just wanted to walk you through exactly how to create a form, how to make changes on a form, how to add the form onto your actual website, so that I showed you that, so that way you're empowered. And then make sure you hit save if you ever make any changes. And then of course this one, I want to go ahead and make this form back to our main one, because I don't want to mess around with that, okay? And then I can actually make the margin small again, because I want this to come up. There we go. And then I hit save, and we are rocking and rolling. Now, again, inside of the guide that is going to be available for members of the community, right? So if you are a member, then you will get access to the guide. It's going to say add a contact us form. There is a bunch of steps in there that you can follow along if you want to learn more about how the form builder actually works, how to actually make sure that you're going through that. Of course, you can then go in and analyze it. You can see submissions to different forms. All of these are going to be, you have an analysis of the different forms. You have, submissions, how many people saw the form, all of that. It gets a little bit advanced. You can go ahead and go really deep on forms, but we just wanted to show you exactly how to actually build all of that and put that on there, right? So part 2, adding it to your website, and then what you can do on here, which is something that I didn't show you, which was the element of it. So let's say I go over to the website, I then open this up in a new tab over here, is you can literally add the form element pretty much anywhere on the entire website, right? So you can come in here and literally say, you know what, I want to add a form right at the top. Well, all you do is you come over here, and then you add a form just like that, and then you select your form. So in this case, I'm going to just use the same form that we got, and look at that, I got a form right there. And so you can literally add a form anywhere on your website. You are now empowered to understand how it works. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is this tactical training on adding a contact us form, how forms work inside of ClientKit, as well as one of the insane benefits of having a business platform that has everything all in once. So that way you are not having to go over to JotForm or PandaDoc or DocuSign or any of these other form softwares, because you are able to go ahead and build everything in-house. So hope that makes sense. Go ahead and continue building out your amazing website, so that way you are rock and rolling with your awesome brand presence. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out into the community. With that being said, we will catch you in the next training.